So today we're going to dive into a classic fairy tale called The Golden Bird. Now, you might think it's all about magic and quests, but really it's about something way more human. That struggle we all have between listening to simple, good advice and grabbing for the next shiny thing that catches our eye.
And I want to frame this whole story with one big question. What if the biggest thing stopping you from reaching your goal isn't how hard the journey is, but all the tempting distractions you find along the way? Just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this.
All right, so our story kicks off in a classic fairy tale setting. We've got a king, and in his garden, there's this incredible tree that grows solid gold apples.
But, there's a catch. Every single night, like clockwork, one of those precious golden apples just vanishes. No matter what the king does, one is always missing in the morning. And as you can imagine, he is not happy about it.
So the gardener's sons are put on watch. The two older ones, they fall asleep. But the youngest son, he stays awake. And he spots the thief. It's this incredible bird made of pure gold. He fires an arrow and misses the bird, but he manages to knock loose a single golden feather. And when the king sees it, he declares that this one feather is worth more than his entire kingdom.
So now the king's obsessed. A feather isn't enough. He wants the whole bird. A quest is announced, and naturally, the gardener's sons all step up to try and capture this amazing creature.
And right off the bat, we see a huge difference between them. The two older brothers find this lively, fancy inn, and they're immediately sucked in by all the fun and distractions. They completely forget why they even left home. The youngest son, though, he meets a talking fox who tells him, hey, stay at that quiet, humble little inn over there, and he actually listens, keeping his eyes on the prize.
Now, how he gets this fox as a guide is really important. He's about to shoot it, but the fox basically says, hold on, spare my life and I'll give you some game-changing advice. The boy agrees, and that single choice to pick wisdom over impulse is going to shape his entire adventure. So, with the fox's help, he actually finds the golden bird. But here's the thing, getting to the bird isn't the real test. The journey from here on out is a series of temptations, each one designed to see if he can follow simple instructions or if he'll give in to his own flawed judgment. Okay, test number 1, the bird itself. The fox's advice is crystal clear. The bird is in a plain wooden cage. Right next to it is this stunning, shiny golden cage. The fox warns him, whatever you do not put the bird in the golden cage. But you know where this is going, right? The boy looks at this magnificent bird and thinks it deserves better. He swaps the cages, the bird lets out a massive shriek, and bam, he's captured.
And yep, that mistake is going to cost him, big time. To save his own life, he's given a new, even more impossible task. Go capture a legendary golden horse that can outrun the wind.
Well, the super loyal fox finds him again and offers to help, but with another very specific warning. Take the horse, the fox says, but use this old shabby leather saddle, not the beautiful golden one next to it. And what do you think happens? He sees this amazing horse and thinks, oh, no way, this horse deserves the best. He makes the exact same mistake all over again. The horse whinnies, the alarms go off, and he is captured. Again. For failing a second time, he gets a third impossible quest. Now he has to go bring back a beautiful princess from a castle far, far away. The stakes just keep getting higher and higher. Once again, the fox comes to the rescue. And the advice for this third test is the most specific one yet. Go to the princess at midnight, give her a kiss, and lead her away. But, and this is crucial, do not, under any circumstances, let her say goodbye to her parents. He pulls it off perfectly. He gets to the princess, and she agrees to go with him. But then she starts crying, begging him to let her just say one last goodbye to her father, and his pity gets the best of him. For the third time, he ignores the fox's warning. He gives in, and of course, the king's guards immediately surround and capture him. So let's recap. He has failed 3 times, all because he chose the shiny, tempting option over simple, direct advice. But the fox, ever loyal, helps him perform a heroic deed to finally win the princess. He's on his way home, with all 3 prizes in hand. You'd think the hard part is over, but the biggest danger is still ahead. Okay, so how does he finally get it right? Well, with the princess now won, the fox cooks up a really clever plan. First, they trade the princess for the golden horse, but then they double back and snatch the princess right back. Then they do the same thing, trading the horse for the golden bird.
By following the fox's advice perfectly this time, he finally has all 3 prizes. He did it. As they're about to part ways, the fox gives him 2 last, kind of weird-sounding warnings. First, don't pay to save anyone who's about to be hanged. And second, don't sit down at the edge of a river. They sound random, but they are absolutely critical.
So he heads home, feeling like the hero of the century. But on the way, he sees 2 men about to be hanged and realizes they're his own wicked brothers. He ignores the first warning and pays to set them free. Then, they're all tired, and his brother suggests they stop for a rest, right by a river.
And ignoring that second warning, he sits down by the water's edge. In a flash, his brothers shove him into the river, leaving him for dead. They steal the princess, the horse, and the bird, and they ride home to their father, claiming they're the ones who won it all. It seems like it's all over. The bad guys have won. But this is a fairy tale, right? And those magical prizes they stole? Well, they have a funny way of telling the truth, and they're about to set the stage for one last, epic reveal. And this is where the truth finally comes out, and it's brilliant. The youngest son, saved one last time by the fox, makes his way back to the castle disguised as a poor man. The second he walks into the room, everything changes. The golden horse, which had been starving itself, suddenly starts to eat. The golden bird, which had been totally silent, starts to sing beautifully. And the princess, who had done nothing but cry, finally smiled. The prizes themselves basically tell on the brothers. Their lie is completely exposed, they're punished for their betrayal, and the youngest son is finally hailed as the true hero. He gets to marry the princess and is named the heir to the entire kingdom. But wait, there's one last twist you're not going to see coming. The fox shows up one last time. It asks the hero to kill it. He does, and in that instant, the fox transforms into a man, who turns out to be the princess's long-lost brother, finally free from a curse. So the hero didn't just win a kingdom, he reunited a family. So when you boil it all down, this story isn't really about magic horses or singing birds. It's about the golden cages. You know, those shiny, tempting, seemingly better choices we make, even when we have simple, effective advice telling us not to. It really leaves you with a powerful question. What are the golden cages that you're choosing in your own life?